What is happening, YouTube? It's been a while. I made a Clipper related video. Um, Other than the CP3 video of him, getting waived. And less than a week, the NBA draft starts. And me, I pretty much like as a side hobby, other than me watching the Clippers for basketball, I kind of like pay attention to the NBA draft. I wouldn't say I'm like good enough to be like like a scout, but I do like keep an eye out for the prospects and who I think is going to be good or he's going to be a dud or whatever. It's pretty much like my side hobby, like especially since we broke up Lob City. That's when I became more of a guy who's starting to pay a little bit more attention to the draft, which I think a lot of NBA fans they need to do that a lot more, in my personal opinion. But anyways, who should the Clippers draft? Now, now in my opinion, like the first like 5 minutes of video, I'm gonna kind of like steamroll it because um those are solid options, but I'm gonna tell you guys what I think the Clippers should actually do on draft night. And you guys, if you watch my past like 5 videos, or pretty much throughout my whole entire like channel, honestly, I think you guys have an idea. So it's not really like too much of a surprise. But and this is mainly talking about with our 30th pick on who should we take. Second round picks. I got some guys on my radar, but actually I'll tell you later. But anyways, for our 30th pick, one option who's in this picture, the guy in the middle, the guy wearing the Alabama jersey, Noah Clowney. Noah Clowney, he's a really switchable defender. He could rebound. He shows some potential of spacing the floor. Very springy. He definitely helped Alabama when they in clutch moments. They did not make it all the way, but Clowney had some solid games. And what he could bring for the Clippers is always like he could rebound, play defense, and bring the athletic energy. The other two guys, they're not on my agenda. Well, one of them, Filipowski, on wearing a Duke shirt. He pretty much reclassified. I thought he could be solid. And the other guy, Xavier Jones, the guy wearing Xavier, I think Kobe Jones, whatever. I'm not too interested in him. Um, but Noah Clowney, he could be a pretty solid option. Um, other Clippers I've been seeing other Clippers fans be wanting to take. I kind of scroll around, YouTube and Instagram. Um, Lately, some people have been saying Jaime Jaquez. I've watched a lot of Jaime Jaquez game when I watched like college ball since I want to say back in like 2021 when it was Gonzaga versus UCLA. Um, I think Jaime Jaquez could be a solid player, but I would not pick him at pick 30. Maybe as a second round pick. Um, and then other people says Trace Jackson Davis, which I test. It looks amazing. He could rebound it. He could rebound the ball pretty well. He could pass the ball. He's a pretty good bruiser. But the fat red flag about Jaime Jaquez and Trace Davidson is they're very old. They're like 22, 23 years old. So you're not going to get the upside. They could be pretty good role players, but it's hard for them to, get the most out of them. And I don't really like taking guys who are like, 2 years and up unless they have the upside. But, I wouldn't hate taking them at pick 30. But that's just my 2 cents. But now I'm gonna get like my personal two like my personal guys at pick 30. Um, One of them is James Nagy. James Nagy, um, he plays in Barcelona. He's more of a like a bruiser, and this is for the people who don't think like Diabate should be playing center, or this is for the people who thinks Diabate should be playing the four. Personally, I think Diabate could play. the five because judging how small the NBA is. But if you don't believe it, then James Najee he might be the option for you guys since um, James Najee he's a very strong big. Um, he's more known for his defense. His offense is not really it's not really showing yet. He's more of the type of guy who would just do a putbacks and dunks, so you're not going to get anything on offense. But defense, that's where you're going to get him a lot. And he's only like 18 years old, so he's not even 19 years old. So that's a really good port. And considering that he's not even 19 years old, but he's this physically strong, that screams a good amount of potential. So that's one of the guys I would take for pick 30. So far, the guys who I take pick 30 would maybe be Trace. That would be cool. Najee would be, I don't know. Could be a solid option. A Diabate and James Najee front court, that defense is going to be amazing. But the offense is going to kind of stink, so we're going to have to rely on our guards more. Um, but that could be a pretty good defensive front court. Um, Now, the the guy I would like a lot more for our 30th pick, pretty much like my favorite pick for pick 30 would be City Sissoko. City Sissoko, he played in the NBA G League Ignite, that's a pretty high level competition, and he's a pretty solid player, man. Dude could do a little bit of everything. Dude could dribble the ball. Um, his shooting could use some work, but it's getting there. It's not like he's like Ben Simmons who's scared to shoot the ball and all that. He's like a point forward, but if I had to give a player comparison, like it's kind of like it's a bit hard to give him a player comparison because there are many of like point forwards NBAs nowadays who could dribble the ball and pass just how positionless it is. But I used to try to say it more aggressive. Ben Simmons without the weakness. I used to say that for a lot of point forwards, honestly. But lately, I kind of kept a more closer eye. I would say he's like a Dollar Tree version of Jimmy Butler. Um, Jimmy Butler, same size, 6'8", 6'9". Um, he plays like the wing, and you could kind of like also play him as a power forward. Um, just like City Sissoko. City Sissoko, he could play the defense. He could, and he's a type of guy who likes to slash too. Jimmy, he does that a lot too, and he could pass the rock pretty well. So that's definitely my pick for pick 30. And for the second round pick, like I said, I don't really have too much guys on my radar, but if I had to pick, if I do get my favorite pick for pick second round, it'll be Mike Miles out of TCU. Joey, if you're watching this, shout out to you. He put me on to Mike Miles. I don't have him in any of my slides right now, but I would encourage you to check this guy out from TCU. I could definitely see a Jalen Brunson in his game. But anyways, now let's address the actual elephant in the room. Like this is just like me talking right now is just like the standard, like what the Clippers should do with their own picks. But that I don't think the Clippers should just stick with their picks. I think the Clippers should move up because there are two guys that I need to see in LA Clipper uniform. One of them, and I think the Clippers are in a prime position to pull off a history. 2011, the San Antonio Spurs had an early exit. They were in win now mode as well too. And what they did on draft night was so out of ordinary. They traded George Hill, a young and up and coming floor general, 24, 23, 24 years old, for an unknown prospect in Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard back in San Diego State. No one expect him to be a star. No one. but they managed to pull it off. They like the Spurs. They didn't care about going for the fancy names. That's how the Spurs are such a good team. They don't try to go for all the biggest stars and all that. They always do their due diligence. They're like, this kid could be good. They would try to draft him. And the San Antonio Spurs, they were like, you know what? I like Kawhi Leonard. So why not trade our, really, really good role player for the 15th pick? And then it turns out to be a major reward. And in my opinion, I think the Clippers are definitely in this position right now to get our missing puzzle, to get an athletic four. Because let's be real, Robert Covington's the only good power forward. Nico Batum, he's kind of declining. Marcus Morris, oh my goodness. He's a revolving door on defense with all due respect. He only has one in 10 good games. Um, but before I get in, actually, you know what? The George Hill I'm going to be using is Norman Powell. Norman Powell is an amazing player, but he's amazing in a Lou Will way back in 2018 and 2019. Lou Will is good, but let's be real. If you saw a hidden gem, you would definitely use a Lou Will to get an upgrade because Norman Powell, he's 30 years old. He's not 23 years old. So it's not. So you pretty much got the best out of Norman Powell, and plus the Clippers are loaded with shooting guards. Let's come on, man. Happy y'all know how much I advocate for Brandon Boston Jr. to get playing time, and I think it's the time that we make room for him to get minutes. Because Brandon, every time when he steps on the court, when he plays against one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, he shows out. He drops 20 plus. Well, he dropped straight up 20 points against the Milwaukee Bucks. One of the best defensive teams in the NBA against Drew Holiday, against Giannis. They lost the game, but still pretty impressive. And then, the Cavs, Brandon started off cold. Dude dropped 24 points in the second half. So, in my opinion, I think it's time to give Brandon Boston Jr. the sixth man up the spot and flip Norman Powell for one of the prospects that we could use. In my opinion, this is like a retool. Not really a rebuild. It's more of a retool because you're getting like an athletic four that we desperately need. Um, just like what the San Antonio Spurs did. One guy, Leonard Miller. This man is so versatile. If any of y'all been paying attention to my channel since the past 2 years, I was hoping this guy declared last year's draft. But Leonard Miller made the right move for himself. He went to the G League, to get some time. He didn't get out straight out of high school, which is a smart move. And he went to the G League Ignite. Leonard Miller, he's been hooping. Um, you know, he 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 got one of the games he got 33 points, but he doesn't average that, but he averaged more like I would say 16 points a game. Um, and then he would always average double digits in rebounds. So this man could crash the glass. Um, he's he's very versatile. He could dribble the ball pretty well. Um, he's also a slasher. He also plays for G League Ignite too. So you know, very good competition. 19 years old, so he's not too young. He's not too old. So he's in a perfect equilibrium. Um, he would definitely solve our needs for rebounding, and his defense is pretty incredible. If I got to give Leonard Miller the comparison, I would say he's a combination of a Jared Vanderbilt, a Terrence Mann, and a Jaden McDaniels. His finishing is amazing, amazing, and he would definitely crash the glass. And, he would definitely be that perfect dog for the Los Angeles Clippers. Um, only thing he could work on is his 3 pointers. His 3 point shooting is a little bit funky. His form's a little bit funny, but hey, look at Russell Westbrook. People were clowning Russell Westbrook, including me, when he was shooting all these ridiculous bricks. But now when he became a Clipper, Russell Westbrook is a somewhat respectable 3 point shooter. If you leave him open, he could make them threes, or at least it would hit right in the dot. So, our shooting staff, you know, is pretty solid, and I think Leonard Miller is definitely one of my options to trade Norman Powell for. Now the next guy, it's pretty obvious. He's my profile picture. Um, I've been advocating for this guy to become a Los Angeles Clipper. Like, every time when I would make a side note, and I made a video just dedicated to him being a Clipper, me wanting him to become a Clipper. It's obvious. Gregory Jackson. Oh my goodness. If I were to pick who would I rather have become a Los Angeles Clipper between Leonard Miller and Gregory Jackson, I'll break it down this way. Leonard Miller, he's more of like an NBA ready glue guy type of player right now. So you're getting a guy who could definitely play defense and get all the rebounds and all that. GG Jackson, he could provide the same thing that Leonard Miller can do. He's just a little bit more raw. But if I tell you his age, it's definitely gonna turn things around because he basically he like should be graduating from high school, but he skipped senior year just to play in South Carolina. So if a guy dropped 30 points and 8 rebounds in a Division One level, a collegiate level, when you're supposed to be in high school, that's pretty impressive. This man, he's gonna be the truth. Whether he becomes a Clipper or not, um, he's gonna be very special as long as he gets drafted to the right team. And if the Clippers don't get him, man, I'll be a little bit disappointed. But if we pass up on him, if GG Jackson's right there, but we pass up on him, I would be irate. I would actually be irate. Unless if it's obviously, some other prospects that I like. But we got to get this guy in the LA Clipper uniform, man. He's very athletic. His defense, it's not perfect, but it's respectable. Um, he's a kind of like a above average rebounder. His shot creation upshot is amazing, and dude is versatile. Think of kind of look at the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, very athletic, can do it all. GG, his comparison is very interesting. Um, some like GG, he played so good. Some people try to say he's like kind of like the next Giannis, which is, ooh, I could see it a little bit in him, but it's a combination of like like I said in my last video of GG Jackson. I said he's a combination of a Julius Randle because he has his shot creation ability, but he has that Giannis ability to drive and get that done, which is that's OD. But hey, check him out. Check this man out. We got to get GG Jackson in the LA Clipper uniform, please, because man, he would do so much better than just like Marcus Morris starting. To be honest with you, so you don't really got anything to lose. Um, that's just my 2 cents. And if the Clippers trade for either Leonard Miller or Gregory Jackson, I'll be the happiest man ever. But Gregory Jackson is my preferred one because this guy's gonna be special. Please, Clippers, get on it. Get this guy in the LA Clipper uniform. And the sad part is we'd be in a perfect position to get him if we didn't trade on for Eric Gordon. But hey, we still have a lot of guys who we could trade up for. And now, I now. So which teams are we going to trade Norman Powell to? Um, last on my GG Jackson video, my last GG Jackson video, it was to the Miami Heat. But the thing is, the Miami Heat made it to the finals, and now they're pursuing bigger guys like Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard. So that might be the Heat might be like a harder option for us, and plus we're gonna have to take up cap space. But now I found another team who we could trade for, and who we could trade for one of these guys, and it's definitely gonna be, you know, it's gonna kind of like hurt your guts because it's our rival team. But at the end of the day, your job is to make a trade that benefits your team tremendously. And the team is the Los Angeles Lakers. Now. I know. If you're a diehard Laker hater, you do not want to see this because Norman Powell, he's going to blossom so well in a Lakers uniform. But these two guys I showed you, Leonard Miller and G.G. Jackson, they're both projected like around the 17th to the 20s. Um, and then, yeah, that would put us in a perfect spot to draft one of them, G.G. Jackson. So the Clippers, we trade Norman Powell, a walking bucket, and we trade up. We use our own 30th pick for the 17th pick to get G.G. Jackson in a Clipper uniform. And then we get it like, 2 second round picks. It would be nice if we could get like a pick swap, but that's being a little bit too unrealistic. Honestly, this is somewhat unrealistic, but if it's just straight up the 17th pick, Norman Powell, that would be perfectly fine too. Because I just really want the 17th pick so bad. I'm desperately trying to see G.G. Jackson or Leonard Miller in a Clipper uniform because, oh my goodness, that's going to benefit this team so much immediately and for the future because we need some youth, man. Because nowadays it's hard for the Clippers to make an actual upgrade because if you actually try to upgrade this team, you're gonna go bankrupt. And this is like the perfect intermediate line of for the guys who want to just go on a full rebuild, get younger and all that, and then for the guys who want to still who thinks we have a shot because the Clippers still get a youth, but they get a power forward who could definitely improve this team. Because Marcus Morris, he's definitely nowhere near G.G. Jackson and Leonard Miller's level, with all due respect. So the Clippers, we get Malik Beasley back. But you see the TO, that's a team option. So that means it's our choice if we want to take his contract or not. And you know what? Clippers going to say no, no, no. So not only we get the guy who I want, G.G. Jackson or Leonard Miller. And not only we upgrade our power forward position, not only we upgrade on our youth, the Clippers offload $18 million off the cap. So it could definitely help us, either resign Russell Westbrook or if you don't want to resign Westbrook, you could just find another free agent. And we could actually do both. We could bring back Westbrook and then we could try to like find someone who's willing to take like a little bit of a pay cut because then after that, personally, I would waive Eric Gordon, so that's another $20 million off the cap. And then Mason Plumlee, I would have him take like maybe a little bit of a pay cut or just let him walk too because I'm going to give Diabate the backup big spot. So you take a huge chunk off the cap space and then what I do, then I would probably just move Marcus Morris for like a trash for trash trade, maybe like to the Mavericks, and then take like another player they don't like, and who knows, you could save some cap space, so that could create room for the cap, and then you bring back Westbrook, run it back with Kawhi and PG. Maybe you could try to get a Naz Reid out of Minnesota, because Naz Reid supposedly he might be leaving. He wants to go to a contender, so hey. Pretty solid options, man. But I hope the Clippers pulls off this trade. I really, really hope we get G.G. Jackson in a Clipper uniform. Leonard Miller's also great too, but GG Jackson is more on my agenda. But anyways, let me know what you think about this video. And I know this is a really hot take, and I love Norman Powell, but man, you gotta find a way to upgrade your team, and I think this is the perfect way to upgrade the Los Angeles Clippers. And I know I do not want to see the Lakers, do good, but and like I said, your job is to upgrade your own team. And this type of trade, it's a win-win trade for both sides, because the Lakers, they actually get a guy who can score, because Schroeder, he ain't it on offense. And D'Angelo Russell, he's stinking it up on offense. Beasley, he's very streaky. So they actually get a guy who could get all the buckets. So they have 3 good years in Norman Powell. And the Clippers, oh man, you already know what I'm talking about, bruh. We upgrade our power forward position. But anyways, draft night's gonna be 1 week. Clippers, please do this trade, bro. Do this trade, man. Get GG Jackson in an LA Clipper uniform. But anyways, much love. Peace.